Welcome to today's virtual council meeting. Before we start the formal business of the meeting, I must remind you that the audio of this meeting is being live broadcast on the council's website, and the video of the meeting will be published after the meeting. Thank you.
Right, thank you.
Thank you, Madam.
Okay, Caroline, thank you very much. Can I say good evening, everyone, and welcome. And it's really, really lovely to see you all. Now, can I just say welcome to my chaplain, Reverend Sally Bayliss, to say prayers, please. Thank you, Sally. Sally? Where's she gone?
Do we have the Reverend Sally?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Hello, yes, thank you. We can hear you.
It said there was a problem and I disappeared.
No, we have. Oh, yes, we can see you. Thank you.
You can
Hello.
see me now. I don't know. I still can't see me. But anyway, it doesn't matter. You can hear me.
Yes, thank you.
Right. So if we're ready, then I'll just say a short prayer.
Thank you, Sally.
Dear God, as we give thanks for our councillors and council, and for all the supporting staff who make these meetings possible in difficult times. We remember, as we always do, the people whom we are called to serve in our roles as councillors. And we pray that as we go into the darker days of winter, in a very difficult year, we are particularly mindful of the lonely and the isolated and the anxious. And we pray that we remember them in all our deliberations. In Jesus' name, amen.
Sally, thank you. Item 2, apologies for absence. Councillor Wilkinson, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. No apologies, we're all here present.
Thank you very much. Councillor Sam Smith, apologies.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, all present and correct.
Thank you very much then. Okay, Caroline, would you mind confirming who is present for the benefit of the people listening at home, please? Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I can confirm that the following councillors are present. Councillor Adams, Councillor Peter Barnes, Madam Mayor Councillor Sandra Barnes, Councillor Barnfather, Councillor Bosworth, Councillor Boyle, Councillor Brooks, Councillor Clark, Councillor Clooney, Councillor Collis, Councillor Creamer, Councillor Elliott, Councillor David Ellis, Councillor Rachel Ellis, Councillor Roxanne Ellis, Councillor Elwood, Councillor Feeney, Councillor Fox, Councillor Gibbons, Councillor Greensmith, Councillor Gregory, Councillor Hollingsworth, Councillor Hope, Councillor Keneally, Councillor Lawrence, Councillor Ron McCrossan, Councillor Viv McCrossan, Councillor Miller, Councillor Murray, Councillor Nayuk, Councillor Paling, Councillor Parr, Councillor Payne, Councillor Scroggy, Councillor Martin Smith, Councillor Sam Smith, Councillor Thomas, Councillor Towsey Hinton, Councillor Truscott, Councillor Wheeler and Councillor Wilkinson. I would also like to introduce the officers supporting today's meeting. We have Mike Hill, Chief Executive, Helen Barrington, Monitoring Officer, Tina Adams, Deputy Chief Financial Officer, David Wakeling, Director, and we have myself, Caroline McCleary, Democratic Services Officer and Clerk of the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Caroline. Thank you. Item 3 is the Mayor's announcement. So I'll just say...
Madam Mayor, can we just let Councillor Thomas on?
Councillor Hemingway. Yeah? Councillor Hemingway.
Hello, I just wanted to correct to the record that it is Councillor Hemingway now and not Councillor Thomas.
So you've got married?
Well, actually, I've gone back to my maiden name. I'm divorced.
Oh, right. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much, Dan. Okay. Mayor's announcements then. Can I just say, we went on the Arnold Park for the remembrance service. Sally did a little, yeah, and it went very well. So I'd just like to say, the leader, the chief, and myself, we all went separately. We went to other memorials around the borough, and it was really, really different, and it went very well. And now to say, it's Helen Barrington's last full council. She's going to Derby County Council. So I'm sure there's some of you who would like to want to say something, and I'm sure that we all wish her well and hope she's very happy with the shows. Is there anybody wanting to say anything to Helen? Michael Boyle?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I thought, that I've known Helen Barrington over the past year and a half. She introduced me to what was going to happen and what needed to happen on the Standards Committee, which I'm a member and chair. And I found her incredibly helpful and very hardworking and very diligent in all the advice that she gives. And it was very much a pleasure to work with her over these last few months, both in our sort of isolations on Teams as we are now, but also in person when we were able to do that. So she goes with some regret from myself, and also from me personally, my very best wishes.
Thank you very much, Michael. Councillor Sam Smith, would you like to say something?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just a thank you to Helen for all her support and advice she's given the Conservative group in the short time I've been a member since last May. And when I became Chief Whip of the group, she lent her hand again to some more advice, and has always been there, regardless of political parties, to help this council and help our residents. So I thank you from the Conservative group, and good luck at Derby.
Thank you very much. Councillor Hemingway, would you like to say something?
I think that's an old hand.
Apologies, that was from before.
Okay, darling, thank you. Councillor Paul Wilkinson.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yes, I'd just like to add my personal thanks to the thoughts that have been given already by others. Helen is a very, very knowledgeable officer, and you can always trust her advice, and she acts in a completely bipartisan way, and helps all parties without fear or favour, and should be a big loss to this council, and I'd like to congratulate her on her new appointment at Derby County Council. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Wilkinson. Councillor Chris Barnfather.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. Just a personal thank you to Helen. Going back to when I first got appointed to the council, and Helen used to advise the Environment and Licensing Committee before she moved on to bigger and better things. She's always been extremely supportive, certainly during my time as leader of the Conservative group. I'd like to thank her for that. Wish you all the best for the future, Helen. There were occasions where we didn't always agree on processes and procedure, but I know you always had the best interests of the council at heart. So many thanks for your support over the years.
Thank you very much, Councillor Barnfather. Councillor Bosworth.
Oh, I'd like to say a big thank you to Helen, because she's been a great support to me personally. She's not only helped me at the Borough Council, but she's helped me with lots of things at the Parish Council. And I wish her a lot of luck in a new appointment. Thank you, Helen.
Oh, lovely. Thank you. Councillor Adams.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yes, I mean, echoing a lot of what colleagues have said, Helen has been a fantastic help to me as I've tried to navigate the magical world of local politics, and especially within the council itself. We've already had a discussion about it, and I've obviously passed on our congratulations. I'm sad that you're going to Derby. I mean, of all places, you know. But I wish you all the very best, and from all the group as well. As I said, you've been a fantastic servant to this council, and you take all of our best wishes with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Councillor Adams. Councillor Murray.
Yes, I just wanted to echo my thanks to Helen, and in particular to pay respects to her enormous skills as a lawyer, particularly in quite a wide variety of areas. I've particularly come across her in the Standards Committee, where she's been invaluable in assisting us in updating the Code of Conduct and the evolving negotiations with the LGA on that. And she's clearly entirely on top of her brief in that regard. And we've also been assisted greatly by her help in the Appeals and Retirements Committee, where she again demonstrated her great skills as a lawyer. And her loss to us at Gedling is certainly Derby's gain. So thank you very much, Helen.
Oh, thank you very much, Councillor Murray. Councillor Truscott. Councillor Truscott.
Yeah, sorry, I was just trying to unmute myself. Yes, obviously we're extremely sorry to see Helen go, and a lot of plaudits have already been said about it, so I won't repeat them all. But as chair of planning, obviously over the years, I've had a lot of contact with her, and have relied on her a great deal for advice, and relied on her expertise. I got on very well with her. I think she just sort of made a good job of tolerating my ignorance in a lot of respects. But I'm really sorry to see her go, because she was a very valuable asset to Gedling Borough Council. And I can just say, Helen, I wish you all the best in the future, and you'll be sorely missed.
Very much, Councillor Truscott. Councillor Ellis, Rachel Ellis.
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. I won't repeat everything that's been said before, which I wholeheartedly endorse. This is a personal thank you to Helen for the support that she's offered me personally, both as a councillor and as a parish councillor. I'm very sorry to see her go, but I do wish her all the best in her new job.
Thank you very much, Councillor Clooney.
Yeah, I just want to echo what everyone else has said as well, but particular thanks on behalf of the Overview and Scrutiny Committee, where she's helped us out with interpreting the performance monitoring reports and answered some tricky questions from us all, and also to offer our thanks for helping us with the executive scrutiny protocol that she input into as well. And good luck in your new job. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Clooney. Councillor Boyd Elliott.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Echo what's already been said by a lot of my colleagues, but again, my personal thanks to Helen going forward. There was a time when I seemed to have Helen as a monitoring officer on speed dial, but I'm glad to say, along with the monitoring officer at County, managed to keep me on the straight and narrow. So all the best for the future, and you'll be sadly missed. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Elliott. And last but not least, our leader, John Clark.
We've got there, yeah, we've got there, yeah. I said a lot at the Cabinet. If people wish to hear that, they can listen to recording, but it's one good thing for me is she's going to God's country. Sorry, Mike, but it's a good county. But yeah, and I've said before about the quality of people, members in general across the council have been very, very good. Heartfelt working for Gedling Borough Council, and this is the same with Helen. I'm pleased she's moving, but I'm not pleased she's moving. I'm pleased, and I meant that in the nicest possible way. It's the fact that she can get higher, there's no doubt in that, and I think the opportunity that affords her now, is something that anybody in that situation would not turn down. So thanks, Helen, for what you've grown through here from when you first came in, when we were on licensing, up to the Eddie heights you're on now. But there are even better times to come, and good luck when you're over at Derbyshire County Council. Building's a bit shot it, but I think the sentiment over there is all right. Anyway, good luck and thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Penny.
Yeah, thanks, Madam Mayor. And like the leader, I did make a few remarks to thank Helen at Cabinet, but one of the remarkable things about Helen is that she is never in the limelight, never taking the credit for the amazing work that she's done to protect not only residents and businesses in the borough, but also the reputation of the council. Harry Truman once said, it's amazing how much you can accomplish if you do not care who takes the credit. And Helen is one of those people, never ever pushing herself to the front, never taking the plaudits, but quietly working in the background. And the work in particular in the last few months that she's done to enable us to move very swiftly, particularly with the humanitarian hub, supporting people throughout coronavirus, has been nothing short of exemplary. And I think, as Councillor Murray said, is actually a demonstration of just how adept she is in terms of her experience in the law and how she can turn her hand to any particular issues that the council has faced. In the last few days, actually, she's been assisting the council to deal with some very tricky issues with businesses trying to flagrantly disregard government regulations. And I think without wise brains like Helen, the council would have been found wanting. So best wishes to you, Helen. And as Councillor Murray said, our loss is certainly Derbyshire's gain.
Thank you very much, Councillor Payne. Anyone else wishing to say anything? No? Can I just say, Peter and I, Helen, just say it's been a pleasure to know you, and you will truly be missed, and you've had some lovely, lovely accolades. I don't think she can say anything, is she?
She's put a comment on the chat, thanking everyone.
As she thanked her. I think she's thanked everyone, hasn't she? Finally, I just want to say, don't forget you raise your button and you raise your hand button, right? Or on meeting chat if you'd like to speak on any agenda item. If members are unable to do this, you'll be given an opportunity to speak. Item 4, to approve as a correct record the minutes of the meeting held on the 16th of September 2020. Councillor Clark to move, please.
Move it, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Councillor Payne to second. Yeah?
It's on mute, Madam Mayor.
Michael?
Seconded, Madam Mayor.
Thank you very much. As the minutes are not normally voted on, I don't propose to take a vote. If any member is not content with this and would like to raise a point of accuracy on the minutes, could you please indicate now? Otherwise, I'll assume that the council's happy to approve the minutes. Thank you. No. Item 5, declaration of interest. None?
No.
No, thank you. Item 6, to deal with any petitions received under Standing Order 8A.
None received, Madam Mayor.
Okay, item 7, to answer questions asked by the public under Standing Order number 8.
None received, Madam Mayor.
Item 8, to answer questions asked by members of the council under Standing Order 9.
And again, none received, Madam Mayor.
Item 9, to receive questions and comments from members concerning any matter dealt with by the executive or by a committee or subcommittee. Standing Order 11.1. There are 10 sets of minutes on this agenda, so I therefore propose to take them all as one. So if anybody would like to ask a question or make a comment about any of the minutes, would you please indicate when asked by using the raised hand button or by putting a message on the meeting chat. If you are unable to use these, please speak up a few moments when asked. Can I remind you that you must refer to the page number that you're speaking about. And first of all, item 9, minutes to A to E. Any comments or any questions, please? No? No. Items F to J, any comments or questions? No? Everybody happy?
No. Oh, Councillor Paling.
Councillor
I'm trying to catch your eye, Madam Mayor. I was having difficulty with the buttons. I would like to comment on agenda item 9G. I think you got that far.
Agenda item 19?
9. Number 9.
9.
9G. Of the minutes. Sorry. Yeah, the page 40.
Page 40?
Yeah. Paragraph 28, item 2 on page 40.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Those fees for taxi, yeah.
It's about, yeah. In previous years, we've had very few responses to the consultation on fees, so it's been quite easy to make the decision of what we were going to do. This year, it's been quite different. We delayed making the decision to implement a licence and fee increase at the beginning of the financial year because of the impact on drivers of COVID-19, but agreed to go out to consultation at this meeting. And the response from drivers is the proposed increase is very steep, especially as the virus is still impacting on their businesses. David Wakelin and I are yet to meet to fully consider all the responses, but I know we're going to be between the devil and the hard place in trying to make a decision. That's true of many of the decisions that the council is having to take due to the dual impact of austerity cuts from the government and the government not keeping its promise on funding its full spend on COVID. I know many of the drivers are having a difficult time and don't qualify for small business support, nor are they employed, so they can't be furloughed or anything like that. I also know that we have to cover the department's licensing costs. I do hope that our decisions, whichever way we decide to go, don't make it impossible for some of the drivers to continue to be Gedling licensed drivers. Some may find it impossible to pay the fees and decide to not renew. Others may decide to find other things. I really do not know, because the impact on small businesses like theirs is quite great. I do hope it's not driving them to driving for the wrong reasons.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much, Councillor Palin. Is there anyone else that would like to ask a question or comment at all? No? Item 10, to consider comments of which due notice has been given under Standing Order 11.3A.
None received, Madam Mayor.
Item 11, to consider motions under Standing Order 12.
Again, no motions received, Madam Mayor.
Item 12, the COVID-19 response, report of the Service Manager, Community Relations. The report's on page 53. Councillor Clark, would you like to move, please?
Yeah, thanks, Madam Mayor. I've been given tonight an update, so I'll go through it. So please bear with me for just a short while. And the subject title is COVID-19 response and the latest position on 18th of the 11th, 20. So an overview of it. An update on the authorities' COVID-19 response is being reported to Council now. This briefing gives an update on key issues since the Council report was published. Local data. Since the report was published, the 7-day rate for Gedling has continued to decline and today is now below the England average. Latest position is, on the 17th of November, Gedling's 7-day rate is 266.3. England average is 272.90. On the 12th of November, 10 of the 15 local areas in Gedling were below the national average based on the 7-day rate. Most areas have seen a decrease in cases in the last recorded week. All 5 areas above the national average area are in Arnold. Now, there are lots of charts on here, which I haven't got and can't put onto the screen, but I'll make sure that this statement comes to you, to all members. So we'll make sure that gets out in the next day. The staffing situation, since the report was published, the Council has seen a decline in the number of staff self-isolating, despite a new instruction to some clinically extremely vulnerable employees to shield. Today, 11 employees were self-isolating. 3 of these have been able to work from home, and all waste in the past services have remained operational despite this staff self-isolation. I think that's really, just shows the extent of effort being put into it by different departments. 21 businesses have been visited by the EHOs to check on compliance. 9 warnings issued. 4 fixed penalty notices issued. Approximately 172 hours of EHO time spent on COVID compliance. Much of this spent unpicking the guidance and regulation. And it might be just worth adding at this point, it is difficult, and I know it seems often that the policy is made on one announcement by the Prime Minister, but it is difficult. This is a fast-moving subject. Latest position regarding the mustard seed, which is a cafe in Gedling. 4 fixed penalty notice has been served on the mustard seed for breaches of the health protection coronavirus restrictions regulations. The business now has been issued with fines totaling £17,000. A prohibition notice has also been served on the business for it to cease operating as a cafe. Police supported the council with enforcement action requiring the business to close as a cafe at around 3 p.m. on Tuesday the 17th of November. Since then, the business has remained closed, and it should be noted that under the current coronavirus restrictions, hospitality businesses can provide a takeaway and delivery service. Retail premises, including bookshops, are entitled to provide a click and collect or delivery service. These provisions have been explained to the mustard seed management, both verbally and in the council's prohibition notice. Officers are monitoring the compliance through the next few days, and should the business reopen as a cafe, further enforcement action will be taken. It is recommended that myself changes the recommendation. You've got some recommendations there, and in the recommendation that a letter be sent from the leader, deputy leader and chief executive to all officers of the council to thank them for their hard work and dedication to service during this pandemic. That's one. Two, a letter be sent from the leader, deputy leader and chief executive to our local emergency services, the NHS, our partner organisations and volunteers, to thank them for their work they have been doing during this pandemic. And hang on, just a minute. I may well have turned a page before I should have done. That's the final bit. Sorry, I've missed a page. You're going to have to put up with this now for a minute. I've just flicked one over. Changes to services. This is a page I've flicked over. So key updates since the report was published due to the national restrictions. Leisure centres and Bonington Theatre have temporarily closed during the national lockdown. Community centres are closed except for the specific exempt activity laid out in legislation, such as education and training or used by elite sports people. Furlough arrangements are being implemented for the leisure and community centre staff. Parks and play areas remain open, as does the Cafe 1899 is open for takeaway only. Local response operations, key updates since the report was published. Communication messages pushed out to the community regarding restrictions and wellbeing. Richard Herod Food Hub open despite the leisure centre closures. Feeding Gedling Fund has reached its target of 10,000, and thank you to all the people that have contributed to that. Weekly mobile testing units continue to be deployed in the borough, rotating between Richard Herod Centre, Druids Car Park, Arnold. Since April, the council has managed to contact and put in place for 2,427 vulnerable residents. Again, that's excellent work done by our staff to, it might just be that one phone call a week that people get. That's vitally important. Financial support. GBC has launched a local restrictions business support grants this week. This was some money from the government. 75 track and trace support grants, £500 are being issued by the end of last week. Enforcement, the latest position regarding compliance operations are as follows for weeks commencing 2 and 9, 53 service requests, 6 COVID patrols made by environmental health officers to Arnold, Mapley, Gedling, Netherfield and Carlton Hill, and 4 phone calls by EHOs to businesses providing advice on the restrictions. And that's it. I've actually read the piece about the mustard seed before that. So back to the recommendations, done 1 and 2, that's a letter to outside body, all of our businesses and residents for their understanding and fortitude in supporting Gedling Borough Council to help keep our communities safe during this pandemic. And I think you'll see by the figures compared with other places, if it goes on at this rate, we'll be down even further by the envisaged end of the lockdown. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you very much, Councillor Clark. Councillor Payne, would you like to second, please?
I'd second and reserve the right to speak, Madam Mayor, but just to say that I fully endorse the recommendations that the leader moved tonight, moving the report. I think it's tremendously important that we all continue to say thank you in what has been an incredibly difficult year. And although I reserve my right to speak, a huge thank you to officers drafting a report like this, which will never do credit to the immense amount of work that's taken place, actually does take time. It distracts them from the day job, and so I think they deserve our credit and our thanks for putting together such a comprehensive pen portrait, like, of the situation that we face. At the same time, they still continue to grapple with what is clearly a very difficult situation. But I'll save my comments for later after the debate or discussion that may or may not ensue, Madam Mayor.
Thank you very much, Councillor Payne. I was going to say, does anybody else want to speak? I can see Councillor Adams wants to speak. Please, Councillor Adams.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just trying to get the old finger on the microphone button. Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. Yeah, I'd just like to first of all thank Councillor Clark for that latest update. You know, it's incredibly important, this report. The powers passed to councils in July to help with the pandemic weren't really exercised until we sort of got into the tier system. So it was really important at that point that the council itself started to get a report of what we were doing as a council for local residents and how that was being affected in their locality. Establishing this information point, like Mike Hill and I believe Lance Juby and others, I'm sure I've missed, have done a fantastic job in pulling this together, like Councillor Payne rightly said. It's really, really key that they have this to understand, you know, first of all, you know, and make decisions in their local area so they know certain hotspots to avoid as well. I mean, getting that sort of information on an area by area basis is invaluable. It's invaluable to us as councillors as well when we're advising them. And, you know, it really helps people go about their day-to-day lives. And also we need to understand about the exit strategy, you know, what happens afterwards, you know, and where are we in that? I mean, we obviously know we've got this fantastic sunset clause, but are we going to get to exercise it, or are we going to, you know, is the lockdown going to continue as it currently has? Again, we will wait and see, but it's important that we have this data here so that as councillors we have the information to hand. Residents as well can access that information. I mean, it seems like an age since we were first notified about the coronavirus pandemic, an age of being cautious around family and friends. And you know, now hopefully with the talk of a new vaccine, or two maybe now, that are 95% success rates, maybe soon, you know, that how human tragedy will be coming to an end, and we can all start to look towards getting back to our normal lives again, and maybe, you know, have normal things to talk about like Brexit. Anyway, thank you very much indeed, and thanks again to all the people that have been involved in putting this fantastic bit of work together. We really do appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Councillor Adams. Councillor Murray.
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor. Can I echo what Councillor Adams has said? I'm very grateful for the production of this report. There has been, and I realise that it's been difficult during the pandemic for the executive to focus on the very pressing issues of addressing the needs of the population of the borough in the pandemic and keeping, as it were, backbench councillors informed about what's going on. And I'm very grateful for this document. I'm setting it out. Obviously, we've had the updates in the councillor briefing emails, but this takes the level of detail to a higher degree of depth, and I'm very grateful for its production. What I wanted to add was this. I wonder whether in his closing remarks, either the leader or the deputy leader could just let us know whether the Public Health England have provided any information as to why it is we have had higher rates. If I'm just looking at paragraph 1.8 on page 55, why it is we had higher rates in Bestwood Village, Carlton and Arnold Town, and that's reflected in the figure 3 on page 56. And I'd be interested to hear what measures we can take to reduce the risk of higher rates in those areas in future. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Murray. Anyone else wishing to say anything before Councillor Clark closes and answers? No? No. Okay. Oh, Councillor Michael Payne.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Sorry, I'm clicking the buttons, but there seems to be a 10-second delay on the on whether the button actually decides to press on it. I don't know if other people are experiencing the same issue when they speak. I mean, you know, I concur with what both Councillor Adams and Councillor Murray say. The only thing I would just point out is that a lion's share of this information is in the public domain and is very well produced by the gov.uk coronavirus dashboard, which as an elected member I've certainly been tracking for my ward throughout the pandemic. So much of this information has been available not only to the executive but also to backbenchers. But I think Councillor Murray is right. Some of the information about service disruption, etc., is quite handy to have in one place in a publicly transparent fashion. Let me just say for the record, which I don't think the report does justice to, partly because actually officers are so stretched. The comms team have done an outstanding job with very small resource throughout this pandemic to both keep, I think, elected members as businesses and members of the public abreast of some of the things that the council have been doing, not only to get out of the door millions of pounds worth of government funding that's been passported through councils, which has been no easy issue, and Alison Ball and Tina are on the call with us. You know, both of them, along with Andrew Solly and the wider finance team and legal team, deserve huge credit for getting that money out of the door with the criteria that came along with it in the difficult administrative tasks. But the comms team, I think, have done a sterling job of making sure that that's been publicised in an appropriate fashion. Just to the point that Councillor Murray has raised, I specifically have raised on several occasions, and I know actually Councillor Clark has, and a number of other county councillors, I know Councillor Barnfather and others have raised these issues with the Director of Public Health about how we can all work collectively together, the government, the county council, the borough council, public health agencies, the hospitals, to micro-target where there are particular issues of hotspots around the virus. And Councillor Murray's referred to a few. Earlier in the pandemic, there were other areas actually around Woodthorpe. Now, I think it's really hard to say what the reasons are. In the conversations I've had, some of it's been about greater level of testing earlier in the pandemic in Woodthorpe because of the amount of public sector workers there are there, in particular jobs that required testing up front. Some of it has been about actually areas having been densely populated or being closer to the city or town centres where there's been clearly a further movement around in terms of community transition. But I think it's also fair to say, and we've seen this borne out in the national debate, that it's really hard, Councillor Murray, to pinpoint an answer to this, even if you speak to the public health professionals, because the test, track and trace system clearly hasn't been working to the level that we all would want it to be working to, including ministers actually have voiced their own frustrations about the test, track and trace system not working to the level that it should have been. So, you know, I think the public health messaging that we can put out as ambassadors in our own wards, the public health messaging that the council can put out is crucial. But we've all got to continue to work very, very closely together to do what we can to, you know, as the leader said, continue to try and get the rates down. And it is positive news, although we shouldn't be complacent, that there is a downward tick now in Gedling and a turning of the corner. But you know, a cautionary note, and the government have been saying this in the last few days, although there is an advent of a potentially successful vaccine, we don't know how successful that's going to be and how quick it's going to be rolled out in our particular communities. And we are about to hit a very difficult period in terms of the winter. And, you know, there could well be a third wave and a resurgence of this virus. So I think we've all got to continue to work really closely. One of the things I think is a learning point from this is that it took a while for the public health officials in Nottingham and Nottinghamshire to start sharing information with the leaders and deputy leaders of the borough councils, let alone senior councillors in the county council and city council and county council. And then after that came sharing more in-depth information with county councillors. I think, and I've voiced this back through the local resilience forum structure, that you know, in future pandemics, God forbid we don't have another one, you know, for decades or hundreds of years to come. But there needs to be a learning point about the very issue that Councillor Murray raises about how can we get to a point where information is quickly shared with all elected members, irrespective of your position or seniority, because we're all elected, we all have an electoral mandate and a responsibility to the constituents that we serve. But, you know, I'd echo what both Councillor Murray and Councillor Adams have said. And I think the leader got it right to move recommendations tonight about thanking people. It may seem glib, but actually thanking people in what's been a tremendously difficult time for public servants, the public, businesses and the private sector actually have played a crucial role in this, I think is really important. I said this morning when I was interviewed on the radio, the mental health impact of this virus has been tremendous collectively on the nation, about not being able to see our family, our friends, you know, the toll it's taken on our own staff actually have been working flat out. And I hope after this pandemic, we all take a little bit more time to look after each other and care for each other and being a little bit more compassionate than perhaps we have been as a society before we entered this difficult phase. But other than that, Madam Mayor, nothing further to add, and I'll leave it to the leader to sum up.
Thank you very much, Councillor Payne. Councillor Clark, then would you like to close?
Yeah, thanks, Madam Mayor. Thanks for the comments from everyone. I'd say we will make sure this second dashboard gets to you. And just to give you some idea, the one your papers you've got, which is 3rd of November to the 31st of October, and the 31st of October, sorry. You see there that Netherfield and Colwick are down, quite down, a good way there. When you get the new one, you'll see that they've climbed in the league quite a lot, and it is very fluid, and that is the situation that the government have got, the health people have got, we've all got. So, you know, and it just seems sometimes when you look at what we're doing with some of the businesses and not playing the game, we do have to be very, very strong with this, as we do with people who are, you know, they're just flouting it. I mean, I did say in an interview for one of the television people the other day that these COVID doubters, I don't think we can doubt it when there's probably about, I don't know what the figure is now, about 50 to 60,000, let's say, the figure there that unfortunately have passed. That is a fact. And it's also a fact is the fact that there are people out there, and I said this quite openly, that deny the Holocaust happened. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. The facts are there, the places are there to see, and we've got to pay attention to it, and we've got to be absolutely grown up about it. There's no, there shouldn't be any. If there's going to be a party debate over this when it's debriefed and you did this, we did that, that's got to be put to one side. The key thing is to get it sorted and get it done. And, I do agree. I not very often agree with the Prime Minister, but I agree with this, get COVID done. And it is a correct statement to make. We've got to all get behind that. And if it means Christmas is going to be a little different, well, it should be a lot different for people, then we do have to, as Michael said, and I think other people have said, we've got to look out for the vulnerable. We've got to make sure that they're looked after. And you see how people have done, I think it's 2,400 people there that are vulnerable. We're keeping an eye on those people, and we have to do our business as human beings, but it won't go away on its own. It needs the technology, it needs all the efforts to deal with it. And you don't know what's around the corner in respect of the winter pressures. If we had the snow and the ice and everything else, that would again then cause pressure, and those staff are looking pretty wary when you see them on television coming away from their work where they've done these long 12-hour shifts and longer. And unfortunately, I saw we'd lost another doctor. I'm not quite sure there was at Leicester or at Derby the other day that another doctor had died. And that's what they're doing every single day. So thanks for all the comments. Move the recommendations in, and make sure. And it's just a nod to Mike. I can't see him anywhere, but Mike Hill, that is, to make sure that people see this latest copy that I've been given tonight, and then and just keep up the pressure. Try and advise people, and we'll hopefully we'll get there. But being it's the last meeting before Christmas, happy Christmas to everybody when you get there, if we get something to do. Okay.
Thank you very much, Councillor Clark. Mike Hill did nod to you. Yes. Councillor Clark, yeah. I don't propose to take a vote on this item, so if any member's not content with it, could they please indicate now? Otherwise, I will assume that the council is happy with the revised recommendations proposed by Councillor Clark. Okay? Yeah?
Madam Mayor, sorry, given that it's given the recommendations are about thanking the staff, residents, businesses and our partner agencies, with the permission of you, Madam Mayor, although there's not going to be a vote, I think it would be helpful if it was minuted formally that there was a unanimous support for this in a cross-party fashion across the council, because obviously I just think it's important for it to be on the public record that people were thanked as part of the recommendations, and it be recorded as such in the minutes.
I couldn't agree more, Councillor Payne. Yeah. Everybody, everybody happy? I'm assuming so. Everybody's nodding. Okay, thank you. Right, I just want to say, Peter and myself really want to wish you all the very best at Christmas time. Hoping that next full council we could all meet up, we never know. Until then, I want to say take care, keep safe, enjoy yourselves with your family if you can at Christmas. I just want to ask you, instead of sending Christmas cards to one another, I wondered if you could possibly spare a donation to the Mayor's charity, because that's gone really down the dip, because it's to City Council, it's to City Hospital and it's to QMC. And what this City Hospital really want now, they want nebulisers. I found that out. I'm not sure what the QMC want at the moment, but I know that the City Hospital are really wanting nebulisers re-COVID. So I'll leave it with you. I want to say thank you very much to you all for attending. Next meeting's in January, and let's hope that 2021 is a better year for everybody. Take care, my darlings. God bless. Good night.
Happy Christmas.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Everybody.